This video, we want to give you a good overview of the Janome Memorycraft 9410QC. This is one of the latest models out by Janome. It's going to give you a lot of quilting features, a lot of garment construction features. So let's dive into this machine and give you a good overview of all the features it has. The first thing you're going to notice at the 9410 is the huge color screen. It's a new clear screen, has thousands of colors built into it. There's a lot of precision built into this screen, and what I mean by that is the icons are larger, so I'm going to be able to see what I'm doing a lot better. When I go to change my stitch, it's giving me the true size of the stitch for me. So that's going to reduce any tests I have to do. I can look at that stitch on the screen and get a good idea of how large it is. My width and length buttons are right here in front of me, and as I adjust the width, it goes in tenths of a millimeter in width, so I have more precision, more selections that I can do and change my stitches up to my liking. You'll notice on the screen it automatically changes the size of that stitch for me, so I know what it's going to look like. And there are hundreds of stitches built in on the Memorycraft 9410. On my screen I always have a home button it'll take me back to, but all my stitches are laid out for me really nice and easy by themes. So if I want to do my utility stitches, those are here. I can pull this up and it pulls my entire placard. And on the front of the machine, on the top cover, I have all my stitches built in. You have utility stitches, the different one styles of buttonholes built in, lots of applique stitches with different types, and I can adjust the length and the width on those tacks on my appliques. I'll have different cross stitches. I have heirloom sewing, more quilting stitches built in on this machine. There's several different modes I can go into for quilting. I have a satin stitch mode with all these different types of satin stitches, and I can combine these stitches together in the machine to make a decorative border if I want to. The machine will have sensors built in on it that lets me know what plate I have on it. It will come with a straight stitch needle plate, so I can know that I never have to worry about if I hit a button, the machine will tell me whether I can use that stitch or not on the plate that I have on the machine. There are lots of decorative stitches built in on the 9410, and there are going to be even more down here that we can pull up, and again, if you want to combine those together, you're able to do that. The 9410 will have several different fonts built in. They will go up to 9 millimeters in height, so all my stitch widths can be 9 millimeters, and on my letters for making quilt tags or garment tags, I'm able to do that. This looks really nice on a dress shirt to embroider that out with the machine. The 9410 is very easy to operate, so don't let the size of this machine overwhelm you. The 9410 is very easy to operate, so don't let the size of this machine intimidate you. The way Janome makes their machines, they're laid out very easy for me to get to all the different portions of the machine, and we're going to be here to help you because Ken Sewing Center is going to give you free support for the life you own your machine. We're going to have technicians here and educators here to help you sit in front of a machine if we need to and talk you through things over the phone. If you feel like you're having a problem, we can diagnose those things over the phone as well. But everything has been really thought out on the 9410. My threading is going to be extremely easy. I have a top winding bobbin here. There's cavities built into the machine. I can put presser feet that I normally use, so I don't have to go back and forth between my accessory tray. But I do like the accessory tray, the way it's made. It folds out, so I can look and see what I need to get, put everything back up, and I can keep everything nice and neat and organized. Threading on the machine is a breeze because it does have the channel all the way down to my needle, so I make sure I easily get my thread in the guides I need to, get it into my tension here, and then I go down to the needle, and I have the built-in needle threader on the machine to thread that needle for me. It does have the top drop-in bobbin system on it. I can see my bobbin at any given time, and the machine will let me know when I'm getting low on bobbin thread, but I can thread that bobbin case really easy. It's a channel on it as well, and a little razor to clip the excess for me. On my needle plate, I will have markings here on the needle plate as well as the cover to help me get seam allowances. There is a place built in on the 9410 on the needle plate that comes with the machine that I can get a seam gauge and screw that down. There's also other attachments that are available that you can get for the 9410 to interface with that. From my needle to the inside of the sewing arm is going to be 11 inches, so it's going to be very comfortable me sewing with the machine. On the bed here I do have a ruler for markings to get seam allowances as well, but I can roll my finished product up here, so having more room to work with gives me a more flexibility. I can keep my hands on my fabric as I'm doing what I need to do. There are extra extension tables available that you can get that fits the 9410 and goes right around the sewing arm. On the front of the machine, all my computer controls are right here in front of me at any given time. So as I go back and forth from my stitches, I'll pull up a stitch here. I can have the scissor where I can push this button. It's going to snip that bobbin and top thread for me right there. Nice, handy, convenient. Here I have the pivot feature. Well, this will raise and lower my presser foot, so no more having to go right around. There is a lever here built in. If you'll notice, we have extra high lift on the presser foot on the 9410, so I can get those thicker materials if I'm hemming pants, or if I'm working with a larger quilt, a thicker quilt, I'm able to get that up under the foot and the machine's going to be able to sew that for me. But I can raise and lower that, so when I get to where I'm, say, the end of a seam, I can hit that button and do a pivot. Now, we'll have the needle up, needle down feature. There's times I want the needle to stop in the fabric if I'm turning a corner, if I'm doing applique. But there's times I want it to stay out of the fabric. So I never have to worry about jerking my fabric, maybe bending or breaking a needle or tearing a hole in my fabric. They will have the auto lock feature built in. Auto lock ties a stitch off for me underneath so the stitch is hidden and out of the way. You'll probably never use reverse, which is right here again, because that auto lock will hide that tie off for me. My start stop button is right here in front of me. Now the 9410 does come with a foot control that you're used to using, but you may want to get to the point you don't use the foot control anymore, or that start stop button is going to be right there handy. Now I can override the speed of the machine right here, so if I'm working on a more expensive piece of material or to make sure I cut down any mistakes, I can always back the speed of the machine down. But as time goes on, you'll get used to the machine. It will sew up to 1,060 stitches per minute, which is a very comfortable speed. You'll get used to that very quickly. The 9410 does have the removable accessory tray, and it's a lot longer arm on this machine. So if I'm hemming a pair of pants, shirt sleeve, anything like that, I can get my stitching further up the pant leg or up the shirt sleeve. There is a button here that I can press that will release my needle plate. I can pull that needle plate out. It does come with the straight stitch needle plate that can pop right on the machine. The machine will have sensors built into it that will let me know exactly which needle plate that I have on it at any given time. Now the difference in the 9410 and some of the other models in the Janome line that has the larger throat space, this is an Accufeed system. The machine will come with the Accufeed walking foot, and what this is a more precise walking foot that is on the market. The 9410 will allow me with the Accufeed system, if I'm working with quilting, or maybe you have a piece of material that has a slick finish to it, or it's difficult for the feed dogs that's built into the machine to feed it. But I can get different soles for this Accufeed foot. There's a straight stitch, there's a 1/4 inch, there's a ditch, there's a zipper and an open toe, and a straight stitch Accufeed foot available. And we carry everything that's made for the 9410 and can help you find the right accessory to meet your sewing need. But as I'm getting ready to do some stitching here, notice on the machine I will have a 7-point feed dog system built in. It's a lot bigger feed dog on this machine. One, because it does a 9mm width stitch, but two, having more surface area touching my material, especially on lightweight material, it's going to make a world of difference when I'm feeding that material through. It reduces any puckering and also reduces likelihood of fabric going down into my needle plate. Thicker materials, that's going to really help feed the material, but if I ever do need to put the Accufeed foot on, I do have that always easily. I can easily put that on and feed all types of material with the 9410. The 9410 does have a lot larger motor in it than most machines, so I'm going to show you. Here is going to be 8 layers of denim. Now that's roughly the side seam on a pair of denim blue jeans. That's probably the heaviest thing you'll ever be sewing. However, the 9410 can handle up to garment grade leather and other types of material with no problem whatsoever. So as I'm going to raise my presser foot all the way up and show you I can get that material up under there with no problem whatsoever. I'll put the machine here. I've got it on straight stitch. I'll back my speed down just a little bit, and then I'm going to start sewing through this 8 layers of denim. I'm going to go from that, and then I'm going to go all the way down to a cotton. Now notice the top dropping bobbin system, it lets it crawl down onto material, and then I've got the stretchy material that I'm going to work with. and it's going to feed it through, and you're going to see I haven't adjusted any tensions. There's not going to be any puckering whatsoever, and it's handled extremely heavy to a cotton, to a stretch material with no problem whatsoever. So now I'm going to hit that auto lock feature. It's going to tie the stitch off for me underneath. I'm going to hit my scissor, snips that bobbin and top thread for me, and then I'm going to hit a presser foot button to raise that presser foot up. And that's as easy as it's going to be right there. So I went from 8 layers of denim with no problem whatsoever. I went to a cotton, and now I went to a stretch material. There's no puckering, no changing of tensions whatsoever. Ken Sewing Center is your authorized Janome dealer. We carry everything for the Memorycraft 9410. You get our premium service package with any machine you purchase from us. We're going to be here to help you for the life you own the machine. If you have questions on how to use your machine, if you feel like you're having a problem with your machine, I've got people here that'll be glad to help you. We want you to call us. Pick up the phone and give us a call if you have questions about this machine or any other machine in the Janome line, or you can always email us. We'll be glad to help you anytime.